Cheers, everybody, and welcome to episode 265 of the Michigan Bros Grow Show, the final one of 2024. We are your panelists for Growly, Russ, and Emily, Terra Nation, and Nuttree. How's everyone doing tonight? We were just talking about Terra's sweater back in the green room. I love it.
Love it. Me too.
Or fun guy shirt.
Yeah. It's so simple yet so like it's not loud, you know what I mean? Because it's not crazy colors or anything, but it's like I get it.
No.
Fun gal works too for it, which is awesome.
Fun gal.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
that's
super
awesome.
cute.
Fun gal.
Oh my god, we should get fun gal.
It's point across.
Gal shirts.
I love that.
That would be great. We'd do that
Yeah.
for Halloween. We'd have.
Well, now you gotta wait 10 more months to do it. Why don't you just go ahead and order them now?
We don't order them. We craft our own.
I was just kind of in my head like, oh, that'd be a cute little sticker to make. Like,
Oh, we're going full shirts.
Yeah.
I want them on the shop by 9 tomorrow.
There you go.
damn it, I came up with the phrase.
I love it.
It's like
Cheers,
Forrest
everybody.
Gump coming up with the shit happened phrase, right?
Girl. Yeah.
So how's everyone's Christmas? You guys get to spend some time with your family and do like I did and gain about legitimately 12 pounds.
That sounds awful.
Yeah.
My belly
I did
hurts.
not gain any weight, thank goodness. Had a good Christmas.
We had really
Cheers,
good.
Red.
We drove up to visit Mama Spartan up in the Coliseum. We did some.
Nice.
We had a event where we were battling for our presents at the end, which was pretty sweet. And I wanted some gift cards to some restaurants, and we used one today for dinner. So shout out to Mama
Nice.
Spartan.
Well, you don't have to tell me where you went, but what did you eat?
I ate some kind of quesadilla.
Yeah.
There's some special kind of quesadilla thing. Mexican American food. Taco Bell.
Text
get
bugs. Wait, so what was this competition for your presents?
They
Explain
were
that.
wrapped up. They were like wrapped up in cellophane, sheets of cellophane, and you had to unroll it with
That's
gloves
such a
up.
fun time. Didn't you have fun
Roll.
doing it?
Yeah, you had to roll doubles to
Yeah.
No, I didn't have a
I
fun
was
time.
crushing it.
I
Crushing
went.
it.
I had to go right before him. Okay, so I'm the one unwrapping while he's rolling dice, and this motherfucker apparently can roll dice like no other because he said, "Oh, watch this," and he'd roll doubles. And then the next time around, he's like, "I got on the first one. I'll get it on the second this time. First one missed. Second one got." It took longer to put the gloves on than I actually got to unwrap the gift. It was insane.
That was
This is
funny.
what happens when Spartan
I
goes
came
to
home.
Vegas for a week.
So, like, that's-
Confidence, baby. Confidence.
Yeah, I brought my A game.
That's great.
Shout out
That's
to
fun.
Naomi May. I popped my last 3 Project Beats. I have 2 females already.
Love
Sweet.
that.
So sweet.
That's awesome. Vortex in the world.
Mm-hmm.
When do we have more of that coming out?
Vortex from our flower, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
We got it in bed right now, so
Oh, that's a while.
yeah, it's gonna be a little.
That's a
Let's see what we have
while.
in veg. We have kosher kush across the bed, third flower.
Oh yeah, in flower right now.
We have Spartan Puke is be coming down next.
We've got.
That's pretty close. That's half Vortex. We have the King Hakan.
King Hakan. That one's in there looking nice.
GG4 to
Locomotion.
Locomotion. TGA tester. That thing's awesome. There's that.
Not fast enough. Oh my God, you got it. Jesus.
Fast. Why do you doubt me?
So much stuff.
That's impressive.
This man's got Vegas odds on his favor now. Come on.
How about you, for girl? You had a good. You ate good. You had some. Did you get some good presents?
Yeah.
Anything? Any grow related purchases from the holiday season? Did anybody do anything there?
Nah, man. No one buys me anything grow related. That's all, that's all expenses and stuff. So it's like one of those things where it's I don't know. You gotta have other hobbies that are fun to buy stuff. Like it's not exactly fun to buy soil. You know what I mean? And it's not exactly
What
fun
would
to
a
buy
freak
like,
rolly,
pots and-
what would a freak rolly hobby be if not for grow equipment?
Drones. He's drone.
Drones.
driver.
for sure.
Oh.
Yeah.
Real.
You 3D print them.
How many
the
fanny
blades.
packs did you get gifted this year?
307 actually.
Oh. Yeah,
No.
nesting doll fanny packs that sit inside each other.
I love that.
Actually, yeah, I could see that. I'm down with that. No, it was more about the time and the food this year. You know what I mean? Like we I don't know, we just had a ridiculous amount of food, and like we had a great spread of Christmas cookies, and I pounded way too many of those, and we had lasagna this year, so
Did
that
you,
was a nice heavy filling
Copy
meal.
anything? Oh, you had lasagna.
Yeah, I actually had some family and friends over today, and started a 10.5 pound pork shoulder last night at 2 a.m. So it was ready on time.
Oh.
Made some homemade mac and cheese, which I rarely, like never do. I got some sharp
Did you
cheddar
smoke that?
Gruyere and Gouda. Yeah, I smoked it. Just put it on the smoker for about an hour.
Oh,
Yeah, smoked the sauce actually, the cream cheese sauce, half and half, and some spices and all that. Don't tell Mrs. Figurli, but there's a teaspoon of mustard powder in there. That's what the recipe called for. All right, I'm sorry.
Is she not a mustard?
Oh, she hates mustard. She could pick it out of a
doesn't
freaking needle in a haystack style too.
I just planted a tray of mustard greens yesterday. Dude, we have some purple mustard greens, they're big fucking greens, man, and they are hard to eat, dude. They will fuck you up. Get all up in the nose. I mean, it's a serious spice. It's like wasabi or radish or something. You
Yeah, I
know?
was gonna say make some like
I'd
horseradish
Add
style.
on a burger instead of using any kind of mustard, squirt mustard, out of the can. Just put a
Yeah,
fresh leaf on that bad boy. But the mustard spice, yeah, is it mustard seed, ground mustard seed, something like that, or is it like a salt brine spice?
like horseradish is like that too.
I love horseradish. I love wasabi as well.
Me too.
I just tried kimchi, and that was pretty.
Kimchi.
That was a little spicy, but that's
like
about
that.
as
Yeah,
spicy
that
as
can
I'll
be
go.
That can be a bit intense. Oof.
Hmm.
I've
All the
tried
way
it a
through.
couple
I
times.
tried
I
two
can
types.
do it if
There's
it's just
regular
a little bit, but a lot of it's hot.
I think it'd be so good. It'd be so good on like sandwiches. Oh my god, I would just load that up on sandwiches. Like on a hamburger, kimchi sounds like it would be it'd be like a replacement for relish.
Yeah, there was two different types I got. One of
Yeah.
them was a red kimchi. The other one was a white kimchi, and that one wasn't nearly as
Oh.
spicy.
I've never seen a white kimchi, huh? I'll have to look that up.
Radishes
you
are so
racist.
sick, man. They will grow in like 30, 40 days. They break up soil. They fucking, if you let them go to flower and seed, they
Like they're a
crop
monster one.
super easy.
Elbow to arm.
They get huge.
They're huge.
They're a great
Yeah.
pollinator attractor. I mean, they're awesome plant. I love radishes. I mean, the whole brassica family, but like radishes specifically because it's more of a tuber root type crop. It like does really cool stuff in the soil. I mean, if they don't, sometimes they don't turn into anything. You just let them go in the soil and just grow and leave them, and they just decompose. They're awesome soil.
Yeah, naturally aerates the soil.
They're a high value crop too. If
You
you're
said
talking
you let them go to flower, they'll reseed like crazy.
seed like
It's
crazy.
like 2 or 3 of them, and I have them all over the yard now because I let them go to seed last year.
I'll let them go to seed and eat their tiny little pods.
Yeah, those pods are good. Those it's like
They're green.
wild radish at that point.
You get
Spartan,
radish off those pods and you the bulb.
not to go back to the conversation too far, but I think you will appreciate this one, Spartan. This was technically gifted to me, but I think I'm pretty sure it's for my son. Look at this thing.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh,
It's a toy smoker.
I thought that was real for a minute. I was like,
Is it-
damn, $70? What is this? What's going on?
It's all of 2 feet tall.
does it
My
have
1-year-old
sit-down
will-
looking? So
Does it
can
smoke?
swap
Does it
on
work?
to me?
It does have little fake smoke. I haven't actually set it up yet, so I don't know if it's like a fog machine style, or what's going on there.
hilarious.
But yeah, I'm pretty excited about that one.
That is awesome.
That's pretty dope. Oh yeah.
Got to start them young,
That's gonna make for great pictures, man.
Yeah.
Side by side.
I think I'll take it outside when it's a little warmer, though. I don't think it needs to be out there hovering
You can
over.
put it in the garage. You can do it in the garage.
Yeah. Hey. Oh, that seems like a bad idea. Let's train our kids to start some fires in the garage.
My dad growing up all the time, still to this day, he says, I grill all year long. And so he pulls it in the garage time and grills the rest of the year. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I found out my the smoker, they don't put off a ton of heat, like radiant heat. Whereas like versus one of my dear friends melted the siding on his house one time because he had his grill too close to his house. But yeah, these smokers don't really do that. So I actually just throw it under the front porch. You know what I mean? Like during winter time, just keep it right there. Yeah. It's if it gets too windy, I will say it tends to struggle to keep up. You know what I mean? But even the gas grills can do that. What about you, Red Setter? How's your Christmas?
Yeah, man. Merry Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Yule, and New Year, and there's all kinds of stuff going on this week, isn't there? So yeah, happy everything to everybody. Celebrated Christmas in my neck of the woods, and we had an adventure, so to say, because we had to pop to like I don't know 5 or 6 different family Christmases between Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and we were even back at Becca's dad's house today doing another baby shower. So we've also been doing baby showers. It was adventurous in the fact that it was like my first Christmas where all of the socks and shirts and undies that I got were super tiny and like don't fit me. So that was a super interesting one. Like they were all.
Did you just say you got undies that's too small of undies?
Well, diapers. Lots of diapers.
Oh, I thought you meant. Wait, never mind. I'm just gonna keep letting you talk.
All of my gifts were for a smaller human than I. So
okay, those diapers weren't for you. I'm just double checking.
Not yet, at least.
Yeah. One day we'll get.
I did get a really nice gift. Shout out to Daddy Red, Mama Red in chat. They hooked me up with. Of course, you're not gonna be able to see this. Can you see it? If I go about here, Elliot Coleman, the new organic grower. It's the 30th anniversary edition. But yeah, he wrote this way back when, late 80s, early 90s, something like that. Master's Manual of Tools and Techniques for the Home and Market Gardener. A lot of this is based around organic technique. Here's soil blocks, for example. I've talked about soil blocks quite a bit. Just a way to, here's soil. Here. She's right. I did. I got some nice cotton, all 100% cotton boxes on the all cotton route. But anyway, yeah. So this book goes through. Well, I got to read it, so I'll be able to. It's about crop planning and getting different varieties growing in a market style, scalable for a human to manage. Basically, something where. If your limiting factor is land, if your limiting factor is square footage, how can you get the biggest bang for your buck on the smallest square footage possible? Basically, this new organic grower goes through. Square foot gardening is kind of a method to it, but this is more like high density growing. No space for machines or nothing like that because that's taken up vital growing space. So you just get out there with as many humans that you need to operate, and typically a system that talking smaller than something that you need machines for is like 2 people. Generally, no bigger than something that 2 people would even be able to manage, and possibly 4 if you're going even bigger. But a more modern version this is J.M. Fortier, the market gardener. where he takes what's in this book and puts it more geared towards 30-inch beds and a lot of the ergonomic designs around high density planting and being able to actually being able to do it, taking theory into putting form into function, or function into form, or vice versa, taking the theory of Elliott Coleman and putting it into application for somebody who's like maybe selling at a farmer's market or something like that, and talking about like just some basic things like making sure that everything is like sized appropriately. I'm searching for a specific
Like
word,
spacing or placement or.
well, let's say you have a row. Let's say you have a bunch of, like, our garden, we have all kinds of different beds. We have different beds everywhere, and that complicates things because if you only have, let's say, a bed that's 3 feet wide and 25 feet, or let's even say 50 feet, or let's even say 100 feet, but if all your beds are the same length and the same width, then all of your materials needed to do all of your, like if you're using a shade cloth, like lettuce, you can't just grow lettuce in the sun. It's going to burn. You need shade cloth. Sometimes you need bug netting if you're doing things organically. You're not spraying, so you need to actually apply a physical barrier between your plants. So bug netting is an appropriate thing to use. Maybe it's frost blankets because you're growing lettuce in the middle of winter, or maybe it's a caterpillar tunnel because you're growing greens and there's a foot of snow. Any way to like standardize. There we go. Standardize the lengths and I mean, you can apply this to any crop. Apply this to cannabis. You know what I mean? In your rooms, you're doing a 4x4 footprint so that your trellising can match, or your pots can fit, or your whatever works. But standardizing it so that you don't need a whole bunch of different sizes of things. And I'm going down a wormhole with that. But anyway, they break down tools, utensils, and stuff like that. These are a couple of really good books. At least I've gotten a lot of information knowledge out of the Market Gardener, and so I just really want to take a look at the predecessor to what his information came from, which is Elliott. And Elliott Coleman still does. He's actually part of the Real Organic Project. He's the founder of the Real Organic Project, and that's an add-on label. You have to be USDA organic certified, and because USDA Organics allows a lot of techniques that don't really apply to soil building and to actual like organic growing, even though USDA Organics is organic, they still allow a lot of things that work really well for growing plants, but don't work well for building microbe life in soil and stuff like that. So such as like plasticking off, acres and acres and putting plastic pots on top of and not growing any only monocropping. So if you're monocropping and stuff like that, you basically can't get this Real Organic seal. Technically, in his eyes, that's not true real organics. That's monocropping and doing it. Organics is basically not just the word and the way that the USDA frames it, but a sense of harmonizing nature and ecologically building the foundations for sequestering carbon and doing things like that, and really the main point being sequestering carbon. And so if you're not sequestering carbon, you're using a lot of it, and so this kind of teaches you how to grow sustainably in a lot of senses. And both these books kind of combined hopefully can help me become a mindful food producer, that's feeding families and things like that, but also at the same time acknowledging the need for sustainable growing and things like that, so that we don't over saturate our groundwater supply and things like that. Even if it's PFAS from plastic, you know what I mean? Like forever chemicals are starting to be acknowledged. They're starting to be a thing, and they're starting to, if you grow dynamic accumulators like cannabis and you grow dynamic accumulators like brassicas and things like that, well, we're going to have a hard time because we're going to be smoking plastic chemicals that are going up into our plants or eating them, and they are neurologically toxic and just relatively aren't good for health and wellness.
Can I share something in regards to that? Now that you bring that up, Red Setter, this is someone's posts that have popped up in my feed the last day or two, and this is one of the two.
Silicone now?
Detection of polydimethyl siloxanes transferred from silicone coated parchment paper to baked goods using direct analysis and real-time mass spectrometry. So he doesn't have the full PubMed what's it called? I don't know, excerpt here. It's just a screenshot of more or less the title. But this is from 2016. And it's talking about basically those, silicone type microplastics, I'm assuming, leaching into the food from your silicone coated parchment paper. And that makes me wonder, obviously, and I think that's the point of this post, is how that can maybe translate to rosin and that side of things. Now, also, here's another one. Plastic tea bags release billions of microparticles and nanoparticles into tea. So a different, again, different industry and whatnot, but, food for thought about the things that we're using to maybe further process our cannabis. You know what I mean? It's like, are we going all this distance to try to keep it so clean, and then we're just introducing something toxic at the end or something? I don't see Red Setter anymore, but thoughts, Russ?
I was just saying, it's news to me that tea bags were made out of plastic.
I know. I thought they were paper or whatever, right? Like,
so did I. Yeah.
Yeah, why did they start using plastic for that crap? I know. It's weird.
I don't drink tea, so I have no idea, but maybe it's.
I just bought tea bags last week, and they were not plastic, so I don't use my own plastic.
I had to jump up, and I missed that. Sorry for going.
Oh, all good. I was just sharing a couple different screenshots of articles, medical journal type, whatever, that talk about silicone and silicone byproducts basically leaching from silicone coated parchment paper into your baked goods, and then also plastic tea bags leaching micro and nanoparticles into your tea. Now, Russ and Tara talked about how tea bags usually aren't plastic, so I'm kind of looking that up now to try to figure that
unless
out.
they're using loose tea and putting into something to hang it in there and steep it, that would be the only thing I could think of. Maybe I don't know.
Those little white bags they're like polyester fiber, and they're like
25% plastic, apparently.
Yeah, or acrylic fiber or something. You have to actually get organic tea bags or all plant-based tea bags, or you have to get a stainless steel tea strainer or kettle or something designed for straining tea, because even loose bags for tea, even if you want organic tea out of your own organic garden, single loose bags, unless those are guaranteed plastic free or all natural or whatever. Even all natural, I mean, technically plastic's it's not synthesis.
Or organic plastic. That's
organic. Yeah, I mean, you want organic plastic.
Even just some that don't use plastic, apparently.
Like you can say that the organic is just a marketing term and stuff like that, and a lot of times it seems that way, as loose as the USDA does allow organics, but there are still standards. There's better, that's if you think of how loose some of the organic standards are, think of how loose no standards are. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's no standards in most things, like tea bags. There's no regulations for no one's.
You know what I think needs to lessen its regulations?
Cannabis.
Yes, but also but also the fucking farmers markets and the cottage laws, especially when it comes to if you can use fucking
we should be able to sell cannabis as under the cottage law.
Yes,
under the cottage law.
Yes, it should be treated like tomatoes. Why aren't we there yet?
It's better than tomatoes. It should be treated better than tomatoes.
But even that, I'm pretty sure that you're not allowed
Regulated
to.
like, treated better than. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think that you can sell anything that's like buttercream or cream
Yeah, I don't
cheese
think you can
frosting
either.
or stuffed cream cheese or anything like that. I think that's all still really. They
What
put their
about
foot down on that
cheesecake?
shit. No, you
'Cause,
can't.
Yeah, I don't
well,
think
that's at the
cheesecake
local
either.
farmers market.
Well, it
yesterday,
depends
2
on
days
if
ago.
it's a baked one or not.
You can't have dairy.
Or if it's set, but
You
dairy.
can't use dairy.
Okay, there's also a guy that
It has to be
sells
like
raw
less-
milk. Maybe I'm talking too much.
Dairy has to be like less than like 1 or 2% of the ingredients. It has to be a super low amount on the ingredient
Oh,
scale.
we got these secret pop-up farmer markets. I need to plug. Come on, for really, where we at?
Speaking of farmers markets, we were doing a little application today at farmers markets, and one in our neck of the woods is, they've done some weird things with the hemp thing in Michigan, because in 2022,
They turned it over to the feds, man.
what's that?
They turned it over to the feds.
Well, in 2022, the Governor Whitmer signed the thing that it basically put hemp under the CRA, and so you basically had to have the CRA was doing all of the oversight under the hemp program, and as of recent, I don't know how long recently, or under how the feds the FDA who took it over, what body, what
The government, the Michigan. Michigan's stance basically said we're no longer it's insolvent, so it means that it's not creating enough money to fund the bureaucrats that were running it. So they're turning it over to the federal government. So you now, if you're a hemp farmer in the state of Michigan, you now have to follow just the federal hemp laws. You no longer have any separate state laws to follow whatsoever, because Michigan expanded it.
When does that go in effect? Because if you go to the Michigan Department of Rural Development
this coming year,
there's a hemp.
They already put a release out. This year, to end this year, they put a release out.
That would be fucking huge.
What's really huge is that well, there's two. The really big, huge pro is there's no licensing fee at the federal level, so you can get a license for free. But the downside is when it comes to the testing towards harvest window, when you get your things tested to be legal hemp, you have to get a federal person out there to do the tests, federally registered. I don't know what exactly the title is, instead of just somebody from the state.
That would be the United States Department of Agriculture.
Yeah,
which you should have a rep in every county, at least in Lansing.
Yeah, but depending on, like, a lot of these farms are rural, so depending on where you are in the state.
I would imagine through MDARD you should have a. See now. No,
it's not through anything, because
it's not through MDARD, because currently it's under the growing it. It's under two different things, right? So if you want here's the interesting thing. You can have a processor's license and sell to dispensaries.
That's different. Yeah.
But it's not a adult use recreational cannabis processing license. It's a hemp processing license.
Right.
Completely different fee.
Yeah.
Your township doesn't have to be operated.
Way cheaper.
There's no land requirements or anything like that. For really, just go to
They just put out a release, and they said everything in the future is going to.
Type in Michigan.
Like MLive. Put in
Michigan hemp
an MLive article. I'm sure
All right, one at a time, guys. One at a time, please.
I'm sure there's an MLive article about it.
I would like to see what Spartan's talking about, though.
What are you talking about, Red?
I'm talking about just the MDARD's website, basically. MDARD's website, because all this information on hemp used to be on LARA. It all used to be on the Michigan Licensing Regulatory website, and you had to go under the Cannabis Regulatory.
So this is what I'm getting. There's the hemp sample testing from MDARD, but like
rural development,
he's saying this will eventually go to that the agricultural
testing labs. That one there.
That's the one I just pulled up. I had up earlier, and this one shows the 3 different testing labs. 2 in one in Ann Arbor.
Okay,
that's at the federal level, and then if I go back to MDARD for the state of Michigan,
Yeah, here's
I don't know how much this is going to tell us, but
Can I share screen? I've got an article I can share.
absolutely
a registered labs.
share it, and then I should be able to like reshare it. I guess. There we go.
So this is dated November 22nd of this year, but it's effective in 2025, so the next year. The Michigan farmers will operate under USDA. The state shuts down the industrial hemp program. It's closed this program, leaving farmers to operate directly under the U.S. Department of Agricultural. It's signaling potentially significant changes for hemp cultivars and processors in the state. It says the USDA rules pre-harvest THC testing are stricter, and all tests must be conducted at the federal approved laboratories. That's what it was, the laboratory. So I don't know if Michigan has a federally approved. Hopefully, it's got one at least.
Yes, that's those 3 laboratories are the USDA ones.
One's in Ann Arbor. Damn, dude, nothing in northern Michigan though. That's kind of
course not.
rough. Yeah.
It closed. Yeah, it's going to end oversight at the close of 2024.
Whoa. I've been having a back and forth on a Country Roots post about it being under MDARD or CRA and like
It's
how-
not to do with the Michigan at all anymore. I mean,
wow.
so we could look up House Bill 5977 and probably get the nitty gritty details.
Okay, so this farmers market that we applied for, I'm not going to say the city right now just because I want to get in and I don't want to fucking put it out there because I don't know, the universe is silly. They're allowing flour. They're allowing hemp flour as long as you have a hemp grower's license, and the hemp grower's license is under MDARD, but the hemp processor's license is under CRA. Nothing. I don't know if you're going to have more of an issue to get a hemp grower's processor's license through the CRA. Supposedly, there's not many restrictions. I don't know if they're going to do more of a background check for a processor, but you're allowed to sell oils and butters and all kinds of stuff if you have a processor's license, and at store, your own storefronts and stuff like that. At least the CRA won't mess with you if you're selling it at storefronts.
No.
What MDARD will do is MDARD will come through and they'll give you a cease and desist. If you're okay, so if I have a roadside stand and we are selling cheesecake, MDARD will come through and give a cease and desist. They'll either knock on our door, write us a letter or something. What there is, dude, is there's MDARD representatives are just out and about and they're just driving around, or they get a complaint from a neighbor, or a complaint at a farmer's market or something. A lot of it is they're just driving around and checking food stands. And if your food stand has, even if you don't have the proper, similarly with cannabis regulations, if you don't have the proper information, you have to have your address and your phone number on a tag. You have to have a couple of little packaging informations, ingredients, like that. Yeah, there's a handful of things you have to have on there, and if it's not right, MDARD rep will issue you a just cease and desist. You know what I mean? Which is nice, and I'm pretty sure that MDARD's super easy to work with at the hemp level. I would love to just work with the MDARD rep. You know what I mean? That'd be great. They do all kinds of stuff. They'll hook you up on like how to get loans, agricultural loans. They'll hook you up on how to get grants and all kinds of stuff through your local rep service. We really need to get a hold of ours out in the county where we are at so that we can look into some of that stuff. But I'm now more interested in this whole federal hemp thing because it was like $1,200 for a hemp grower's license. It used to only be $100. A couple years ago, it was just $100 for growers, and $1,200 was the processor's fee. And that was all through MDARD. And then it switched to CRA in 2022. And now I don't know when it switched the grower side back to MDARD, but some farmers markets I guess it's dependent on the MDARD rep. It's dependent on the way that they interpret the law, I guess, because the farmers market that we're looking at says with a hemp grower's license, you can sell smokable flour. With a hemp processor's license, you can sell oils and balms and tinctures and all the other stuff. You can sell seeds for consumption, processed seeds for consumption with a hemp grower's license. With a hemp processor's license, you can only sell seeds to other hemp processors, or I think maybe hemp growers. You can't sell them to the general public. So I'm curious about where the seed thing.
Well, what if you sold them as just protein, like edible protein?
See,
You know,
You can.
seeds are completely legal to be sold across state lines, and it's just it's hemp because it's under the 3%.
So I'm curious if this will close the mission, because right now it's
well, MDARD will have no say. That's what I was.
right.
That's what I was thinking the whole time. Is they have 2 days left to regulate that. After that, it's you know out of their hands, and in less than 2 months, they will have zero funds left in their pockets to even think about doing anything with this. So
has the MDARD website updated? And you just on it a second ago.
well, that was the House bill I was showing showing that on February.
We're talking about government agencies, how quickly this might be updated 10 years from now.
It would be interesting. I hope they do drag their feet on it. That would be great, because that would really open some doors for. I mean, if you're talking,
Let's find out.
live testing. I mean, if they're still requiring live testing, because they want testing on a dry weight, right? Hemp testing is by dry weight in Michigan. But if
They'll come out to your garden. It's called pre-harvest testing. They'll come out to your garden and take samples of your live plants.
and that's going to be a THC.
Look at this last news release, guys. It was over 2 years ago, almost 3 years ago.
yeah, they don't really have money, dude.
Is this on the Lara
here's
website?
There's
or is this-
24.
Here's some updates. Yeah,
this-
regulatory transition. So this is going to talk about how it's over. Yeah, this is November 19th, 2024. Some key
Okay.
differences. No license fee. Licenses are valid for 3
This was the
years. And growers
document I
must
remember reading.
contact USDA certified sampling agents and private labs for THC testing. That's the differences.
Get the fuck out of here.
I'll zoom that in for you guys.
Get the fuck out of here.
Valid for 3 years. That's nice too.
Yeah. Red Setter's like all this info he just learned is changing so rapidly.
So cool.
I remember
it's opening the door, man.
I remember him mentioning it, but I thought he was talking about the MDARD taking it over, which I was still looking into it, and I'm like, it's still $1,200. I mean,
Right. Hey, wait 2 days, man.
you want to at least make that back, right? So you want to be able to
Yeah.
have enough usable flour, and where you're going to sell it. Well, there's right now only one farmer's market that I know of. You could totally do online if they're going to allow that. If that, if the seeds, if it's bird seed, I don't know. If it's souvenir seed, whatever kind of seed it is, digestible protein seed. I mean, I guess there's ways of getting around
What
that.
I used to get it into over through
I'm not a lawyer.
country borders
Go
is I wrote genetic preservation kit, and that got it across the border.
Well, there you go. There you go. That's a good piece of non-advice. I like that.
Yeah, it's like the general person looks at that and like, oh, it's sciencey shit. I don't know what the fuck that is. And it's like,
Right.
That's a good one too. Just include words you don't know.
Just big sciencey words, you know what I mean? Think of something Latin. Make it sound foreign, but smart.
hey, shut up. Emily's already hit this a couple times, but check out. Well, I should let you
Nice.
say that. But Nick from
Yeah,
Noble
in
Glass.
the middle of chewing, you should let me say it.
Oh, sorry. I just check out that fucking opal, guys. It's fucking cool.
That's really cool.
I'll let Emily talk about it. I'm sorry. I'm just
No,
I thought
show
it's
it
cool.
off. Go for it. I don't want to lean up there.
go ahead. I'll be your Vanna White.
Oh, you're so
There
sweet.
you go. There you go. Tell us about it. So who crafted this?
So this is Nick from Nobull Glassworks, Nobull. And I met him actually at Gems and Genetics the first year that they did Gems, and he was doing live glass blowing there. And he and I just started chatting. And I have a few pieces from him actually, and they're the pieces that I've had the longest. They're super sturdy and super well made. So they've stood, kind of the test of time. But I reached out to him because I saw that he was doing these custom Puffco pieces. And I haven't used my Puffco basically since I got it around April this past year. Because like the atomizer was real janky and stuff. And so I just kind of like put it to the side and I was like, all right, I'll just hit a rig anyways. But I saw that he was making like these custom pieces, and so I hit him up and I said, all right, I like this style, like what's the price range? And so he told me, and I sent him the money, and I said, just, take my money and make me something pretty. I don't really like, I just, the yellow that I like, because I didn't want like a gross yellow. And when it comes to glass, unfortunately, like yellow is not an easy one, but he's made me a few other pieces. So, he kind of already knew that. And he's like, all right, I'm just going to show you the body of it to make sure you like the yellow. And then I'll do the rest of it and send it out to you. And I'm like, perfect. Like, yes, that's exactly what I want. So I got to open it up on screen on the Let's Be Buds show. I got to unpackage it. And then I still had to wait about a week until I could use it, because I found a real good deal for the atomizer, a 3D XL chamber online.
Nice.
And it was supposed to be delivered the day before Christmas, and it didn't come until Saturday. So
Bummer.
yeah, I had to wait quite a while for it. But honestly, so I reached out to him because my birthday is coming up, and I was like, yo, I want to get myself a dope ass piece that I'll use, and I reached out to him for that, and he was like, oh, I can start working on it this week. And I got it literally within like 10 days of reaching out to him. And I was like, well, that turnaround was much quicker than I was anticipating, sir.
That's
so
awesome.
yeah.
But I don't know if you've ever hit like a Puffco dry, but I learned that trick from Marcus Bubbleman when I went to Barcelona for the first time, and like to be able to hit them dry without the water, it's just, you get bigger clouds, it's better. It's like, okay, now I understand this. Now I understand this device. Now to get like the way that he designed this one to be a little bit shorter, even so it's an even, quicker path to you. It's so nice now. I really love the Puffco now.
And this piece is like, I'm talking like a sturdy piece. So
Yeah,
when
that
it
looks
got
super nice.
when it got popped in there the first time, like it's just that little piece right there is the mouthpiece. So you have to like line it up. And when I was first putting it in, I like popped it on there. I was like, oh, sick. And I went to pick it up and it like fell right out. And I'm like, did I order the wrong size? Did I not have the Pro or whatever, like the right model? And I realized, oh, you just really got to push it in there. And so like you can feel it sink in. And that thing is amazing. Like it just fits so beautifully in it.
Yeah, it's nice.
I can remember sitting and talking to Marcus, and he was like, I was like, man, I just noticed your Puffco doesn't have any water in it. And he goes, yeah, what's the water for? I'm like, well, he goes, what's the water for in your bong? I'm like, it's like a filter. He goes, well, what do I need to filter?
Yeah.
I'm smoking pure terps, bro. What do I need to filter? I'm like, fuck, you got me. you know.
I do it on the, I got water in the Enel rig more or less to cool it down, I think. But yeah, with a Puffco, it's like, it's such low temp dabs as it is. How far do you need to go? How much do you need to cool it down? I do the same thing. It was mostly by accident initially, and then I just never filled it back up. I just don't put water in my Puffco glass. I will say, I'm rocking the just the kind of the OG one that comes with it, and I've got a nice cleaning tip for you guys, especially when it comes to the glass. But even the if you're gentle enough, even the atomizer and like the kind of seat in which the atomizer sits in, because you guys know you do enough dabs in those things and the wax gets under the atomizer, starts getting real sticky. You'll see it start collecting in your glass itself, whether you're using water or not. You just take enough dabs, it's going to start leaching through like that, right? A common thing to use is Epsom salt, isopropyl, something like that. Another really accessible product that you can get for $20 or probably less on Amazon or at the local hardware store is a heat gun, and it's basically like an overpowered hair dryer.
Yeah,
and
anyway,
you don't need to turn it all the way up. You don't need to hold it there for too long. I would say grab some gloves, some thick gloves, so you're not heating up the glass so much you can't hold it or something. But all you got to do, man, is where that little hole is that she showed us, for the kind of the entrance to the glass, for just have that pointed, like in terms of center of gravity or whatever. Make that the lowest point of the glass, and then just put the heat gun on it, man, and hold it there for 30 seconds, a minute, something like that, and all that stuff's going to start melting right out of there. Yeah. And if you put it, over a stainless steel table or something like that, you can collect it. Yeah, you can collect it, man. You can make edibles with it. You can re-dab it if you want to, whatever, man. Have fun. But yeah, heat guns are, in my opinion, the best way to clean those Puffcos, or at least initially. Then maybe run some, ISO through it after or whatever to get the full flush.
That's a great tip, and I just tried something similar the other day. I found a great way to get this. Collects all my reclaim really awesome. This little drop down right here, and so the other day it had gotten so high that it was starting to collect up here. I'm like, oh shit, time to empty this. And it's always a pain, sticky mess to do that. But this time, I just hit it with a torch a little bit, so I saw it just start to bubble. I'm like, all right, now let it go. And I took the banger out, and I just took a syringe like for RSO. Just stuck it in there and sucked it right up. And I was like, oh, that was beautiful.
Yeah. That's a great way of doing it. I've never thought of the syringe like that, but I've mistakenly just soaked it's very similar dab rig like that. It's got the little reclaim catch in there, built in, and it'll hold 2 grams of reclaim or something like that, but it'll start eventually spilling over. Once it starts spilling over, you're going to end up having to soak it, right? The syringe idea is amazing, but if you don't have one, just take that banger off and stick your dab tool in there and just pull it back up, man. Like,
yeah, that's what I
pour the water out, put it to the side. Because I've like poured ISO or ethanol or something like that, and they're like, well, I guess I'll let it just soak, and then it's it's not gonna defeat a 2-gram barrier of reclaim just all in one spot. Maybe just will dissolve the top layer or whatever, but you got to get in there and scoop it out. I love the syringe idea. That's such a great idea. I will say, be very careful putting a torch to your rig. I've definitely cracked rigs myself thinking that was a smart idea. That's why I recommend going the heat gun route, because you get you put a torch on the wrong part of your rig, it'll just immediately crack some glass. So careful with that.
Yeah, well, if that happens, I'll go buy another one, I guess.
Yeah, that's why I don't buy the $7,000 rigs. I'm not smart enough or careful enough.
I'm 50% off on Wild Bills, man, all the time.
Right. Tara, you got any tips or tricks when it comes to dabbing?
Ooh, my go-to for cleaning a banger is using the little Mr. Clean erasers. Clean it right up.
Those little like spongy looking things that you use on clothes or whatever? Really?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
Clean
like
it right up.
Huh.
Takes the
All right.
jazz off and everything.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you
Did not
notice
know
that
that.
your banger chances up more like harder or anything after that? Because it is like micro sanding it.
No, but I've noticed, because I have honestly, this is the same Evan Shore that I've had this, and I know I'm gonna jinx it right now so bad, and I probably shouldn't even.
Oh, no.
I hate to even say it, but I've had the same Evan Shore banger for almost 5 years now.
Damn,
And so
nice.
it's really good. I mean, it's got just a little bit of some like cloudiness that it's just now starting to get to it. So I think I've definitely gotten my money's worth out of that.
That's badass. Where did you end up
But
getting
no, I
that?
haven't noticed it. I didn't notice it initially when I did it at all. I just think over time it's itself just starting to, wear and tear on the glass. I mean, it's not going to stay perfect forever. But yeah, that's one of my little cleaning tips that I absolutely love to break out from time to time.
So you just cut them into a little strip or something so you could jam it down in there?
Yeah, just cut me
Cool.
a little piece and work it around down in there. It's awesome. It's like it makes me feel good just to sit and, kind of clean it sometimes.
I know
like
exactly
that.
what you're talking about. I do the same thing with like my grinder, just different parts.
Oh gosh, I can sit for a while and just take I'll take the end of a paper clip and
I'll take
I'll
a dab
undo
tool.
it, and I'll just sit there and work it all the way through. And
I'm just so glad that I have you to hand my bowl to. I can't stand cleaning it. I'll just be like, hey,
oh
this
gosh, I
cleaning,
love
please.
that part of it. But yeah, I do like
such a
that.
satisfying feeling once it's complete. It's all clean. You're like, oh, look at that, sparkly.
Yeah, I love when it's all clean. You do a great job.
Sometimes though, our one grinder at the house is like on its last leg, so it's like it can't be cleaned anymore. It's like not lining up right anymore. It's like totally warped. So it's almost time for a new grinder. But that's the grinder that I got from Spartan, so it's going to be real hard for me to part with that.
Oh,
You need to get a sweet leaf grinder.
Yeah, I've
Those are
seen
the
some
best.
that are pretty cool looking, and I need something that's really easy because you guys, I probably know by now. If not, if you have heard me complain, my hands are terrible with arthritis, so I need
Well, I would
something that's
recommend the Sweet Leaf makes like a bigger one.
really
They make
easy.
different sizes. They make one even bigger than that. It's easier
Okay.
to hold on. Easier to
Yeah,
hold on.
I think something a little bigger would be nice. Actually,
I want the bigger one. Yeah,
like
this
this
one is
was-
hard for my hands to grip around because it is a little bit thin on the
Yep.
sides. But they do have a bigger one. But it's just a real simple metal spike,
Okay.
and it works so well. It's gotten stuck up on me before, but even just letting it get cold, you can pop it off. I've never had it actually get locked up.
Okay. Yeah, it's even hard for me to like use scissors to cut butt up now. So yeah, it'd be much better for me to have a grinder that I could use a little easier. I know that Santa Cruz's make a nice grinder too, but they're a bit expensive. So I'm not sure what the price point is on the one you're talking about.
Sweet Leaf's not too bad.
That
I think
this
it's
was $7 or $8,
Oh.
and then the bigger one was maybe 15 or 16, I think.
Oh goodness, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was not that expensive.
Another thing you
Okay,
can look
wow,
at.
yeah.
Another thing you can look at if you like the scissor cut is to get herb scissors. And
okay.
herb scissors, you can cut off one bud with like one snip or maybe two.
Oh,
It's like a bunch of scissors stacked together.
okay.
So
Well,
Just to know.
speaking of Santa Cruz, how much do you think this one is?
yeah, I know.
Holy
that one.
I like that
cow.
they have the hand part, the real grinder.
Yeah, I like that.
I've
Yeah.
never seen anything like that before.
It does 2
Goodness.
pounds. There's a 2 pounds or 5
Industrial.
pounds. They'll do 5 pounds.
Wow. Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, see that? You know how easy that would be to hold on to in turn? That's what I'm talking
There
about.
you go. I could like crank that bitch all around.
Do a whole ounce of easy in seconds.
Damn.
You'd be good for the month.
That's
Going for
huge. Phew. Wow.
Shout out to Big Jar Gross. He's always sending me something I can use on every show. Appreciate you, bro.
Shout out Big Jar.
Big jar
Love
style.
him. Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was stinking awesome right there. We're really get into that.
Yeah, it's
You
like
guys-
shutting a submarine door or a safe door at
Yeah,
a bank
and then
or
think
something.
about cleaning that. You'd have to get like a screwdriver and
No, that's what a drill with a brush is for at that point. We're talking industrial grade.
And
a little dribble
alcohol.
brush thing. Oh, get a little dribble in there.
I'll just soak it in some alcohol and then fucking make arso out of it.
Oh, there you go.
Power wash it with some isopropyl, maybe
Isopropyl.
ethanol. I don't know, whatever you're
There
using.
you go. Ethanol.
Sorry, I keep bringing up isopropyl tonight. I don't know why.
You got any new flavors that you've been extracting lately there for Growly?
Actually, so I think we might have talked about it already, but I ran those 3 flavors. Well, it was 3 runs for
Chuck.
Chuck D's Nugs, and one of them was Cream Royale, which I know he was pretty stoked about. That was the one that we did. That was like a single flavor, but he actually held down the fort for me. I got to give him a shout out as well for holding down the booth actually at the Third Eye Craft Affair. I wasn't able to make it, and so he basically
That's
took the counter with him and
out there.
yeah set up shop and had not only flour and actually some carts of mine, but these 3 flavors as well.
That's
So
just
the
cool to have
Cream Royale.
and the concentrate too. That's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he kind of informed me how he got some feedback on that, like how people were stoked to see that, and I've experienced the same thing. It's like it's one thing to show up with like fire extracts, right? But it's another to like show up with like the fire extracts and the flour it came from. Whether or not you like even want to smoke flour, it's cool to at least even see it. Basically the source material.
100%. I would love that.
So the other
Looks
2
like-
combos was FX3 and Giggle Gas, and then the one that was everyone apparently was loving, and I understand why, because it was just a different flavor, man. It's that peach pudding and yikes, and I think it's the peach pudding itself that's really like stands out. So he's pretty stoked about that. And honestly, it sounds like maybe peach might be one of those flavors for 2025. I don't know. We'll see.
Really?
I like peach. That's not one I see a lot.
I mean, did you actually? Was it really like honestly like peach, or was it?
Well,
something
again,
else?
it's comboed with the yike, so it's hard to say.
Okay.
Being like a 50-50 split or whatever, but there's definitely that soft fruit kind of flavor that comes through, and it's not a rotten mango, but I can see it being on that like think raspberry parfait, but there not being any sour to it. It's more just that like sort of citrusy fruit. It's not even, I don't even want to put it in the citrus category because it's not like sharp like that, But yeah, there's definitely something there to it, and I don't remember if that was his first run of it or what, but I know he's growing more. So
that's gonna be cool to see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
was that fresh frozen when you ran it, or was it
all fresh frozen?
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
he did a great job at harvesting it. With the vac sealing and doing all that. It was, I was able to kind of just give him the ins and outs of how I would harvest it. You know what I mean? If I was him, kind of thing. And he definitely took the advice, and that just made my job all the much easier. And I think helped with the returns and everything, because he had some great numbers on his product, man. He had some great source material there. He did a great batch, and I'm looking forward to the next one too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Awesome
Hey,
job.
I'm trying to post it on the chat, so I'm sorry guys, but it's not letting my comments post. But the person who did my glass piece for the Puffco, his name is Nick, and on Instagram it's No Bull Glassworks, NOBULL Glassworks. But yeah, I don't know why it's not letting me tag it, but I tried tagging it on the Instagram with an at and without it, but it's just not posting.
In the YouTube chat?
Yeah, in the YouTube chat. I tried posting it twice now, and it shows it pulled up on mine, but when I look at his, it doesn't show it's posted to the chat.
Interesting. I'm not even logged into the correct account to make these changes in the settings, but I was gonna try to change you to a moderator or whatever, but it's a different account.
Here,
We're streaming from an account no one is on right now.
Sure. Yeah.
Because you can try to share it, because you can at least.
Oh yeah.
Right here. Look.
Yeah, but I gave you the link to make it clickable if you want it.
I was gonna say, or put it in the private chat. I guess it might have to be him doing that too. Oh no, he clicked the wrong button. Or
yeah,
Red
I'm
Setter.
definitely curious. I mean, what has people been talking about the upcoming new year? What are our new strains? What have we heard? What's new? I mean, you're just talking about this peach. What, peach pudding? Is that what you called it?
Yeah, it's peach pudding, and I'm gonna have to look at the genetics.
Okay.
But that's not his only peach. He's got some seeds that he showed me recently too that have some sort of peach cross in there or something. So he's kind of like, maybe I'm gonna be the one to push the peach. I'm like, do it,
Hey,
Bring the peach.
I thought I heard somebody.
Bring it.
I thought I heard somebody say the year of the pine this year, 2025 is the pine, but I don't know where I heard that from.
I would love to hear your input on this too, chat. What do you think are going to be the 2025 flavors?
Yeah, I would love to know this. This is like I've asked a few people in Michigan that I talk to on the regular, and I haven't really gotten any good answers yet. So that's why I'm really anxious to see what are people looking at. What are they looking for?
We had a really good pine. We had a Bubba Dozy. It was called Dub Bub, and I ended up kicking it, but I ended up breeding it also. I ended up taking it, getting seed out of it with the blue steel. So I still have some outdoor to go through. I had one solid plant of it outdoor. And I mean, it's like walking in. If you're from Michigan and you know about going to Frankenmuth this time of year and going to Bronner's, man, it's that smell. It's that walking into a Christmas store smells. The wreath hanging on the front door and the tree and and everything about it. I think it's gonna be at least for me, where I'm headed is the cheese. Is like sweet cheese and stinky cheese.
I would love to see some stinky cheese come back.
I got an Apollo 13 right now that's taken on just like its mother. It's an Apollo 13 S1. So I ran Cosa seeds, Cosa Farm seeds, Apollo 13 F4, I think is what it was. And then I had a S1 seed. That sucker ended up giving me a couple seeds over the years, and I ended up getting a seed on that. And I have no recollection on what the pollen donor is, or if there was a pollen donor. But what I do know is that it resembles the mother almost to the T, except it's a bigger plant. It's almost a nicer plant overall. But it's got that funky like baby diaper, baby poo, baby bedroom smell with
You don't think you're about to have enough of that?
I know it's weird. Well, it's weird. That's the weird part about it is that it's
You're
coming
able to really identify.
Right,
Now. You're like, wait,
baby poos.
but it's
Get
not
ready
baby poo
to-
yet.
Now, do you know what I think is cool? So I was watching Canna by Chem Riley. She was on, I think it was First Smoke of the Day,
Yeah.
and she was talking about how that poop smell, it comes from something called scatol. And there's like two different types. Yeah, there's two different types that that produce that poop smell. Scatol and indole or something.
This
And
one's not so much the poop that it's more like the diaper, right?
Well, so what
Like-
she was describing, I'll see if I can find the video from earlier I was watching.
This
But
is interesting. I've never heard that before. That's pretty cool to hear.
she
Nobody's
said the
ever given me
scatol was
appreciation with
found
it.
in such like minuscule amounts in the cannabis, but that's what was identified as that. Like, I don't know if it's a
Huh.
terpene profile at that point, but
Yeah, I think it's 13.
Huh.
So.
Interesting.
Yeah, super interesting. I don't know who, maybe it was Ethan Russo or somebody was talking about the skunk being the skunk flavors, the cheese, and a couple of those being
Volatile sulfur
Is it,
compound.
yeah, that's what it was. Not, I was gonna say alcohol, but a sulfur compound. Yeah.
Yeah.
The realm of flavonoids is vast. I mean, who knows if they're going to continue it. The other ones were like the Moonbow crosses, which is like Skittles and some stuff. And so there's a papaya Moonbow that we ran, which is Puro Loco, which is super cheesy. One of them was super cheesy. The other one was like sweet soapy. So like I'm also kind of leaning this like soap flavor in with like the cheese and dirty diaper, because it's not so much poopy dirty diaper as it is like the plastic smell is kind of what I'm getting as more of the thing. It's like this beach ball rubber tire store in the line of, and then it fades into like there's some cheesy, stinky cheesy. Like the one of the Puro Locos is almost on the cheddar. It's like a cheddar, dude. It's kind of cheesy, but this Apollo 13 is more on this funky feet, poopy diaper, funky cheese. And then the Rainbow Belts, more of like a sweet skunk, but still in that let's say color wheel, flavor wheel, if you will, like that portion of flavor wheel, but much more in the sweet skunk portion of it. If you were to consider that the cheese and the skunk were of relation, right? I'm considering the cheese and the skunk being of relation, but there's something vastly different about the Apollo, of course, because it's not a Moonbow cross. But then there's like all these Moonbow crosses definitely have a similarity that I'm getting, and it might be the Skittles in it, but it's soapy and it's sweet and it's also skunky.
Red, you have described so many different things to me. I want to back up and try to focus on one real quick, because one that stood out to me that you just said was the baby diaper one. And that was the description we got commonly for sweet pink pie. I looked up sweet pink pie, and it's just a second generation of sweet pink, which is bred by crossing pink champagne mother with an F4 blueberry father. I don't know.
That's old world genetics stock or second generation. Is it second generation?
The sweet pink pie is a second generation, yeah. From my understanding.
I ran those. It hermed like a motherfucker on me.
Really?
Yeah. They had a really nice flavor. I don't know if I would say that it was cheesy. It was really champagne. It had a fruity, but really like all of
Where does the funk come from? Is it like the blueberry? Like what's? I'm trying to figure out lineage wise on
the
both.
blueberry gets a smell from a fruity fruit punch Afghan or something like that. That DJ Short was working with as the male, maybe. I think that a lot of the funk comes off the Thai side of the blueberry, because the blueberry is also with, I think, a purple Thai, or maybe it was with the flow, and the flow is a purple Thai or something like that. He's got his baseline right, and then he worked that berry to the F4, and that's been like the breeder male. I think that the fruit is coming off of the Afghan side on that. I'm pretty sure it was like a fruit punch Afghan, Pacific Northwest Oregon strain varietal. And then I think the Thai, I'm not sure the Thai, Hawaii, there was a Hawaiian involved. There was a Mexican Hawaiian involved, maybe with the Thai or maybe with the Afghan to make. Maybe it was the Hawaiian and the Afghan made the blueberry. I could be wrong on the Thai. The Thai might be the flow, now that I think about it.
And which strain did you say you had that smelled like baby diapers?
Apollo 13. That's a Cosa Farms, and there might be a skunk lineage in Apollo 13. That's a F4. That Apollo 13 specifically was a F4. So and then so I S1. Mine's like a S1, assuming that the pollen donors from it, but it's structure. It's beefy. It's more beefy than the other one structure wise, but I'll tell you what, man, I wouldn't be able to tell the buds are different. The flowers, I like these flowers better. The flavors almost more pungent. It's nice. Really nice. Super nice Apollo 13. But yeah, it's got this, and it's almost lighter green too. It like doesn't fade. You know what I mean? I've seen Apollo 13 faded. I've seen purple Apollo 13. Definitely not this type of, this lineage.
I got some of your dry sift from the last stuff that you ever had of it.
That aged dry sift, probably. That was dry sift that was aged from like 2018.
That was so great. That used to knock me the fuck out. I loved it.
Yeah, it held that flavor, which is why I don't think it's a volatile terpene. It's some other that just lingers in there.
Apparently there's a lot of Jack Herrera and Apollo 13 in the lineage, and then also some Shiva skunk, which is Northern Lights cross the skunk #1.
Okay, so there's a skunk. Yeah, see, I think
it's Hayes, Northern Lights, Jack Herrera, skunk #1. That's pretty much what wakes this all up.
I think if you want to find the skunk, you have to hunt the cheese. I think that's where I'm just connecting dots. I don't know.
Right.
I was thinking
that's what I'm trying to do too, man.
I was thinking it was in the Moonbow, because the Rainbow Driver was so close to being skunky, and it is. It's super skunky, but it's more beach ball, light up like a brand new rubber pair of water wings. You know what I mean? Like that type of smell is what it gets me. But it's super interesting because the Granddaddy, which is another throwback, it's been around for a while, has that Mendo and skunk, and it has like a bit of I don't want to say cheese to it, but it has like this like gassy. When you say gas, a lot of times it's like a peppery gas. You know what I mean? This is like a kerosene standing at the fuel pump type of gas. Like it's like a unleaded gasoline in berries. And the lineage is Mendo and skunk, even though Ken's lineage, I believe, I think the Ken's lineage is the Shit, I had that one on the tip of my tongue. Ken's Granddaddy Purple was the
Big Bud and Purple Oracle.
yeah. Big Bud and Purple Urkel.
I got it on the screen. I'm
And
cheating.
So, it's on the screen.
This
Yeah.
is archive seeds.
Oh, so
Moonbo.
Moonbo's got all of that in it. Interesting. Skittles,
Yeah.
all of that in it. That's where that's all at. Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm wondering if you get the. I mean, there's the Girl Scout cookies up here, and then but everything else is like the OG Kush.
So the Granddaddy Purple that we have, I would say, is not the Grape Ape Granddaddy Purple. It doesn't resemble Purple Urkel. And I've had Grape Ape. And the Grape Ape that I had was like really close to Purple Urkel. And actually, the Dolato, which is a Moonbow cross in Dozy Do and Gelato, reminds me of Purple Urkel. It's really Urkel-y. It's really Grape Apey. And it's fucking pretty, dude. It has pink bracts that are like fuchsia, bright, crystally. It's a very pretty flower. Dark purple fade on the sugar leaves on the flower. Like, it's a really nice flower.
That was a good one to smoke. I really like that one.
Yeah.
That was good.
It's calming. It's not like,
Mhm.
I'd say it's like in the low 20s, THC wise. It's nice, man. And
That's a good one.
I could see where that's coming through. The Urkel's coming through, so I could definitely see that being. And I would say the Granddaddy that we run is not the Urkel Granddaddy. It's the Skunk Mendo. There might have been something else in that lineage, Granddaddy. And there's just something different about it, that it has like this grapiness to it, and the kerosene gasness to it. But there was this, apparently Granddaddy and Durban were used to make cherry pie. And I'm almost wondering if that Granddaddy, now that I'm thinking about it, and cherry is such a big thing right now, and in Michigan we just had a cherry category at the Country Roots sun-grown competition. I'm wondering if that Granddaddy would fit into a cherry category, even though it's grape. Anybody here had?
Here it goes. Here, you ready for this? This is Royal Queen seeds. Look at that, purple Urkel. It's the GDP. Makes up the cherry pie, right? So Durban Poison, GDP,
and then
you got your purple Urkel in there.
So it's what, a F2? It's basically a F2 or F3 is what the cherry pies claim to be.
Well, I mean, at least for Royal Queen seeds, I can go back and like
Royal Queen. Okay.
There's a bunch of them. I mean, I don't know if we want Ethos or who, but
oh geez.
They look pretty similar though.
Everybody's done it that way, huh? And that's the Big Bud Urkel. Yeah, see, those are all the Big Bud Urkel.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how my GDP put to my Durban Margie would do.
The Durban's usually like a peppery one, right? Durban Poison is like peppery. I like that one a lot. It's a good
I
one.
think 2025 is the perfect year to find out.
Well, I'm super interested in finding a male from the Blue Steel Granddaddy cross that I did, and a name for that cross as well. And I've gone through a few, but I want to find a Granddaddy leaner on that cross male, run it back to the Granddaddy, and as well take that to a couple of the others in the garden.
You don't have to share the names that you have, but how do you put together a name? Do you base it off of the two parents and find a mesh?
I like to do that. I like to do based off the two parents and find a mesh. Just that way. That way there's
right across the Granddaddy Perp. You'd call it Granddaddy Perp.
Yeah, I'm like Granddaddy Blue, right? Be like, but I'm trying to like lose the Granddaddy connotation because I want it to be more catered to feminine. Oh, I want it to be the feminine form of the cannabis plant. So
I like that. I
like
like
a grandma. Thinking like a granny, great granny. I don't know. Purple and blue together make indigo. Maybe the word indigo will get thrown in there. I don't know. You know, like blue steel was one of them. And if you think of a blue metal, you get cobalt. I mean, there's all kinds of like but the reason I'd like to keep the parents in it is that way there's a little bit of the understanding of what to expect, right? Because a lot of time, this isn't all the time, but a lot of times I get when I pheno hunt, I like to look for an outlier when I'm pheno hunting. But when I'm looking for an outlier, when I'm selecting a pack of seeds, I'm looking at the female on the pack of seeds. I'm not necessarily looking at the male on the pack of seeds. I'm looking at the male as a pollen donor, maybe for it to give a structural support. Maybe there's some flavor in there, but I'm really looking to find a replica of the female. It might take a selection to find that female, but like, you know, like if I'm looking for Northern Lights, I might try to find a varietal that's Northern Lights times whatever, and then try to hunt and search for Northern Lights.
Of the Northern Light.
Yeah, that way I can at least try to get back to that, something like that.
Bro, you got like Eric one in chat. That's the name right there. The blue hair granny.
Blue hair, yeah, I like that because like I was trying to like fit something like that into there too because Grant like that's like the connotation with like silver hair, right? It's
yeah,
like the old blue hair, you know. Yeah,
I affectionately call old people Q-tips because they're.
And I'm open to suggestions, you know, open to suggestions. Yeah, Q-tips, the Q-tip.
Call it Blue Kiss.
Blue Kiss, blue hair, Blue Kiss.
Oh, why would you say such a thing, Ross? Jeez.
Oh, Blue Kiss knows me better than that.
That's an ass whooping.
Nice try. I like Blue Hair Granny. That's pretty awesome.
Our last concert, we actually hung the poster. Okay, so check this one out.
Wait, Lucas was at your last concert?
Well, we didn't.
Lucas was at our last concert.
She is the magical weed fairy.
We went to Billy Stream at Pine Knob, and Lucas gets a heart because she bought us our road poster, which is in the baby's room actually. We hung that up today. It's been lingering around the house. And that was Lucas's gas money. She got us a poster for us. So thank you, Lucas. Shout out to you in chat, actually. Thinking of you today because we were hanging up that poster. And
she used her gas money to get you the poster?
Yeah, she got us a poster for we drove her to
Oh, I was like, how did she get home? Actually, I don't want to know.
Yeah, we drove her to the shows and she hooked us up and got us the poster.
Okay, that makes more sense.
She twinkled her toes and
how
then
did
she
she
was
get
home.
home?
That's how.
We drove her back and then she hung out on the couch and we had coffee and doobies in the morning, and I don't recall she drinks coffee. I don't think she had coffee, but we had doobies in the morning, and Ruben ate half a doobie, which he does.
No,
Wasn't
that
like,
up, doesn't it?
definitely wasn't like anybody's fault that he ate half a doobie because it just tends to be a common thing. Thankfully, he hasn't done it in a while though, so he
When
hasn't.
he does it affect him? Does he calm down or does it make him amped up?
It amps him up. He gets woo for a minute and a little chill, but once he's like getting to go, he's
He's
Okay,
like,
does he jump around real funny when he gets stoned?
he does until he like realizes that it's kicked in, and he'll eventually go chill.
That was the funniest thing. Like the
Dude.
only time Endo's been like stoned, she was walking around like high stepping like a pony, trying to. I don't know
He
what
doesn't
she
get
was
that
doing.
bad when he eats joints. He doesn't. It's not that bad. That definitely like edible wise, like that's like eating an edible, or he's eating flour off the ground, like gotten into like trimmings and stuff like that. He's a little.
Oh
shit.
yeah.
He loves weed, man, but he also loves coffee.
You gotta quit growing such good weed over there, dude.
He took down half a cup of coffee today, sitting on the table.
Oh no.
A bit of milk.
Not good.
He's really an asshole,
Ruben
dude.
on coffee.
Okay, so you know how I was just gone for a minute? I was just gone because he decided to destroy a snake plant, a succulent, and a cactus that were like this high up. They were like a foot off the ground, and so they were like on the ground. And Becca's like, "We go check out Ruben," and I go out there, and there's fucking soil all over the floor. So we were just cleaning up. I don't know if it's from the coffee. He doesn't normally behave that way, but that would be the difference in his diet today. That was like
Literally in there bouncing off the walls.
Definitely the coffee.
little jerk. Well, he got put in his crate for like most of the day. He got into the coffee, and then like an hour later, we went to baby shower number 2. So he was in his crate for like 5 or 6 hours. And yesterday was his first day without his crate, though. We did an hour with him just chilling in the house. We put a little camera on him and watched his behavior. He was totally awesome. He walked back and forth, looked out the window a few times. He was laying down. He was totally cool. Laid on the couch. Yeah. We close off. We have like 3 or 4 gates. Like we went to Home Depot. I remember like last year I went to Home Depot and I didn't really have a need for them, right? But I remember always seeing them because they're wooden. And every time something actually wooden, it catches my eye, And they were like $8, $6, and I'm like, man, those might be good for like corralling chickens or something. Just kind of keep it in the back of my mind, Well, we get Ruben, and he's a pain in the ass. I'm like, I know. Let's go get these $6, $8 baby gates. We go to fucking Home Depot. The same wooden baby gates are like $25 a piece. $20 a piece. I'm like, what the hell happened to these? So we get like one of them. You know what I mean? And they're a pain in the ass. Well, I don't know what the hell happened, but we went back or went to a different Home Depot or something, and they were all on clearance. And we got them all for like $4. We got like $20 worth. I ended up getting like 2 of them for the shop. I got a couple for here, and I'm like, well, shit, these things are finally on sale. So I grabbed a few of those suckers. So we got little baby gates everywhere to like filter him, because we actually have like, instead of having an open concept, we have like an in and out for our kitchen, and it's just like there's extra doors. So we chase each other around all the fucking time. It's you do lap back.
You're going to be doing this. I'm so glad you guys have baby gates, because the same thing is going to be happening in a couple months here, and then like a year from now, you're going to be doing the same thing with your kid. Yeah,
like
we call it playing monster.
How Ruben is tearing up the snake plant, and I've got a snake plant in the kitchen that 2 years ago my kid took a bite out of the side, and it's just grown out that way. Like it's gonna happen.
I looked on the bright side. I said that Ruben was actually helping us. He propagated the snake plant. He took like 8 leaves out of this thing, so I put them all in water. He took a whole bunch of leaves off the succulent, and we could just toss them in some sand or soil, and they'll all grow new succulents. So he was helping propagate. Becca took like 200 propagations yesterday off of pothos and snake plants and all kinds of money trees and all kinds of shit, right? And I think he saw us. I think he realized what we were doing and realized that he needed to help propagate.
He just wants to be part of the team, man.
Part of the team. I was digging in soil and doing microgreens yesterday, so he's just ready for it. He's ready. He's digging out in the yard. He's putting holes in the fucking mud, and it's fucking fun because we got all new floors. And
I mean, how crazy is it? I don't know what you guys said, but we were at like 53, 54 degrees this weekend. Like,
yeah, dude.
For December 28th, 27th, whatever it was. Like,
it's been boring.
It's
been a tropical depression.
Take it every time. I was thinking, I was just driving today in the rain. I was like, this is rain on this end of December. This is what's up. I'm
heavy rain all day long, dude.
I don't know.
You don't have to worry about dying on the road. It's cool.
Oh, dude.
Seems to always be a concern, if I'm honest with you, around here, but no matter the weather.
I feel way better when the roads are stable. My tires stay on them.
Yeah, seriously.
I'm sure January will be way different. We'll see.
I have a feeling, man. I really thought it was going to be a cold one.
I was telling Emily, I was like, this is just a tease. This is Michigan. It fucks with you.
Up and down, back and forth.
Don't relax until after February.
Seriously. Yeah, come if it's still snowing on what is the March holiday?
St. Patty's Day.
Yes, that one. If it's still snowing on St. Patty's Day, then it's like you're still in Michigan. You know what I mean? And then come Mother's Day in May, if it's still snowing, you're still in Michigan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember it snowing on Easter before.
Oh yeah. Yeah, one time growing up, I remember it snowing on Mother's Day, and it was just like, what is happening? Of course, it's not sticking or anything at that point, but still, seeing giant flakes come down in early May is.
Man, this last year we went to a monster truck rally, and it definitely wasn't snowing then.
Yeah, that was cool too.
Did anybody hear about the earthquake we had around here? We had I think it's a 2.9.
It was
magnitude.
2.9, and it happened at 6:33 this morning.
Yeah.
I did not hear about that, but I did learn a lot about the differences in earthquakes between
Has
the
there
two.
been any drone sightings in your area?
Actually,
that.
yes.
Boom! There we go. Did you hear that? We got to clip this viral.
Viral.
I
All right. Well, now
myself
that
have
the
not
Google
seen it,
algorithm
but I
has
have
picked us up.
heard of them at work. These drone sightings.
Oh,
Really?
okay.
Yes.
Hold on. Let's go. Wait, where were we before we got to drones?
Come on, you're the drone expert for girl. This is right up your alley.
No, it's all bullshit. It's freaking airplanes,
You
guys.
wish.
Stop.
You
There was an
wish.
earthquake
You
before
wish.
that.
Earthquake.
Yeah,
That's
we
what it was.
talked about
Thank you,
the
Nut Tree.
earthquake.
Thank God. Okay, so tell us about this 2. What? 2.6, 2.9 earthquake?
2.9
Yeah.
in Hicksville.
It was in Defiance County in Hicksville, Ohio today, which is just the
Wow.
next.
There's an actual place called Hicksville,
Yep,
Yes, it's super cute.
More than one.
huh? Wow.
It's in my
So
it's
got
in
one
my
of those
county.
Too.
Isn't Defiance near the border? Or am I
Yeah.
thinking Michigan?
It's close.
Defiance, Michigan.
It's only one county away. There's Defiance County, then Williams County, and then it's the Michigan border.
Is it the other side of 80 or something like that?
I love Defiance County, man. That's
Yeah. That's where I'm from.
One of my football playing college friends was from Defiance. Somewhat familiar with it.
And so where the Maumee and the Auglaize meet is one of the. If you take that line and run it straight up, it's runs into Sault Ste. Marie. That's a straight line from north to south. That's what line they used to make all the county lines in Michigan was off of that line. Too, if you didn't know that.
I did not know that.
You do now.
I do now.
And then the other line was straight through Jackson. There's a marker somewhere in Jackson that signifies the central location of like the 2 points, I guess. So the north and the south, and then the east and the west run right through. It's somewhere close to yeah. You're like the center.
So Michigan could split in half.
Well, hold on. So
Like right up the hand. Like
That's just
Jackson's like, here.
it's
how they drew the lines of the.
Just below the middle finger, baby.
okay. So what you have to look at, guys, and I learned about this recently. It's called the New Madrid fault line or the New Madrid seismic zone.
How's it
And
new?
Teach
The
me,
new
Rolly.
How is it new? That's crazy.
Oh, that's very far.
because
south.
it's not the old Madrid one, but this New Madrid fault
makes
zone
sense.
is it goes through kind of I don't know,
St.
like you
Louis.
see right on our
It's like the
our map
Mississippi
here.
River.
Yeah, pretty much. And so if we're gonna split anywhere, it's gonna be along there. And here's some catastrophic damage versus slight damage. So Michigan is in this zone, but it's kind of like on the outer
Moderate.
edge of it.
Moderate
Yeah,
Slight damage.
and the basically the ELI 5 here is we all know like the California earthquakes can get pretty crazy, like 7.0s and whatnot, and like they do a lot of damage, like sometimes like $1 billion of damage at a time. And it has a lot to do with the way the fault lines like collide. Okay. And again, I'm no expert. I watched one video on this recently and I just want to share this. So they collide like this, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that they're on the edge of the ocean and they have a mountain range on the other side. So because of those two things and everything else that I don't understand, it doesn't get very far. So it's kind of more concentrated, right? So that's why you get these 7.0s and thereabouts. Well, over here in the New Madrid zone, where, talking Illinois, Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi, that kind of that zone, they are typically that 1.0, 2.0 range, right? And a lot of that has to do with the way that these plates are spread out, right? We think of the Great Plains and the fact that there's so much like flat land, right? So a lot of this gets spread out. These earthquakes get spread out and you don't feel them as much. And one of the caveats, though, of this New Madrid fault line is, unlike California, where they kind of just collide and go over top of each other, over here in the Midwest, middle of the country, whatever we want to call it, it does this thing. It does this weird thing where it just kind of collapses under itself and keeps going. So if we have a bad one, and we're talking like a 5, 6, 7.0 type of earthquake in the New Madrid zone, it's not going to be a $1 billion damage type of situation. It's going to be like $100 billion type of situation because it's going to go so much further. Now, that's as far as I could explain it. So feel free to chew on that.
So was there activity in that zone during this earthquake? If so, that would be the radiation.
Obviously, it was the drones. Yeah.
There's drone activity for sure.
Oh, well, drones caused it. Okay. Direct beam laser.
They did bring in a bunch of they bust in a bunch of illegal immigrants. That's probably what it was. They brought in a dirty bomb and let it go off, and it caused it.
You can see the B word. Oh no. Oh, the B word. Here we go.
Or it was the drone.
And the D word.
Hey,
YouTube actually has a tab. Baby. That's how big this is such a psyop that YouTube has a tab that says drones at the top, where it says news, live, your favorites, drones.
That's based on your algorithm, because mine's wait, maybe it's not. Hold on, read it all the way through.
I wasn't reading it. This is off memory from my iPhone.
He's reading yours off your glasses.
Hold on. I'll tell you what mine says here. Mine says all podcasts, live, news, music, runways, extraterrestrial life, then drones, then Billy Strings.
Yeah. See, that's based on your algorithm. So it's
and raised bed gardening.
Because I got drones in mine too, but it also has law enforcement and precision sports, because I like watching dash cam videos.
Body cam video is pretty cool too.
Yeah, mine has nothing about drones on it.
Really? Maybe I was watching.
Mine has nothing about.
All right, everyone, send a DM to Anything Grows that says something about drones or has a drone article, and her algorithm
I don't
will
need to. He
drastically
watches
change
all of
very
it. That's like
quickly.
all he watches are the drone stuff.
This psyop is selective.
I am well informed.
It's a selective psyop. You have to be invited.
You have to be invited.
I do not want chosen.
You've been mad talking mad drones, right? Doug is not putting up with it, right?
Heck, I didn't even know about the drone stuff until you guys told me about it.
It's crazy, man.
Dude, I listened to who? Dr. Stephen Greer, that guy. I think I said his name last week. I listened to him, and ever since I've just been feeling a little bit better about the whole situation. He seems to really think it's alien technology. So, I mean, that's cool by me. It's alien technology. Yeah. It's better than war on the home front.
So is the iPhones that people are carting around, man. So what's the big deal?
That's what I mean. It all is. It is. It's all from it. And it's the whistleblowers are coming forth, and this whole drone thing is
the whistleblowers are coming forth, and nobody gives a fuck. That's what
I mean. Yeah, we've all been so desensitized to all this stuff that it officially worked. They're like, look,
Aliens? We didn't see no aliens.
well, they're like we can finally drop the aliens, right? They're desensitized. Let's
And
just
no
do
one
it.
cares.
Off the alien thing.
This is
fine.
this is what blows my mind. Like, we're not going to call it UFOs anymore. We're going to call it UAP.
Oh, and then they went from
talking about. Get the
UAP,
fuck
which is
outta here.
unidentified
aerial phenomena.
aerial phenomena, to now, because they're coming out of the ocean, we got to call them unidentified anomalous phenomena.
Yeah. Just say UFOs, fucker. There's water UFOs.
Right.
How about that?
Yeah, just go with UFOs. It's not that scary.
God damn, we know what that
It's
means.
scary.
Problem solved. Another problem solved.
Most of us went to institutionalized schools set up through fucking the network of elites that wanted to make us all subservient workers. So I don't know what to believe anymore, guys. Who knows?
I just know that I'm protecting my airspace.
They feed us. They feed us with shit that's not even food. They feed us with shit that's not food. We watch like mindless junk on the addiction devices, and like I don't know what to believe anymore, to be honest.
We bring up UFOs, and now we have people in our chat that I swear I've never actually put a comment in our chat before screaming about UFOs. I love it.
I like to look at both sides and make my own informed decision. I don't like to keep myself blind to either argument. I like to at least hear people out. And there's some wild shit out there, man.
My thought about the whole thing is that aliens don't need a machine or a spacecraft to travel. They do it through DMT and ripples in space-time. They're already standing right next to us and within and
Do you think
without.
you could do enough DMT to actually transverse yourself into a different dimension?
I've never done DMT, but people are doing it. People are reporting
But they're coming back.
Like,
Do you think
they're
there's
coming
enough
back.
that you can
They're
do?
like going in with other people at the same time and having meetups in there. It's trippy as shit.
Yeah, they're mapping. They're actually
They're
mapping.
mapping.
Europe doing
Universe.
slow drip DMT so they can
I
stay
wanna
in
sign up.
longer. So they can stay in longer. Yeah.
It's a realm. It's weird. Dude, I put on these VR goggles today and I blasted holes through the walls in my parent-in-law's house, and there was a pink alien world on the outside and little bubbles flying
Wait a
at me.
minute.
and
Wait a minute. What did you do before you put on the goggles, Red?
Nothing. That's the beauty of it.
I didn't even smoke weed. There's teenagers. But you know what? Dude, it was wild, man. The walls, like, it's like there was a world within our world. You know what I mean? And I'm like, that's what it is. But we have this filter called baseline reality, or the
Yeah,
physical
some of us.
world,
Some
or
of us
whatever.
do.
Some of us. You're right. You can dissolve the filter. You know, and yeah, dude, all
Red.
my buddies are chilling.
So something that I've looked into, or that I have hypothesized in my brain, because I was looking into DMT, and that phrase "home," you know, like the everybody is talking about home when they're drawing that place of DMT. That's one of the main words that they use when describing it. The people who are on those elongated trips and all, and it's all, they're describing a similar same place. And having schizophrenia, sometimes when I have delusions and things like that and hallucinations, one of the only phrases that I can grab onto that helps a lot is "I just want to go home," you know, like, and it's just repeating it, and it just feels so safe. It's just, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what is around me, you know, sometimes, unfortunately, like with hallucinations, and that's where my mind goes. And there's been other things that I've looked into in terms of a schizophrenic brain and amyloid plaque and things like that. But that's something that I find so interesting, is that that's something that I've experienced and that I've had, you know, that I've kind of dealt with. And like, you know, since talking through stuff with Russ, he's brought up things where it's like, you know, to be schizophrenic, it means a fractured mind. And he explained how he viewed like the different dimensions and stuff, or the different experiences, as like different fraction pieces and stuff. And so like, is hearing that and then like finding all of these other things that kind of line up with that, it's one of the things that I'm like super interested in continuing to look into and stuff, because of those things that line up, pieces that I already knew, pieces that other people have shared and I've been able to put together, and then things like that, you know, like where it just feels like maybe there's somebody out there who's experiencing something when I have a psychotic break and I'm not in the world, like, you know, and they're saying it's a hallucination. What if it's not, you know? And so it's been interesting to kind of have that to grab onto.
Yeah, you mean
Well,
like
what if the
at that
theory?
point, you're just accessing another dimension or another copy at
Yeah.
that point. Yeah.
I definitely don't want to like plant a seed, right? I don't want to like plant a thought seed, but what if like it is a filter, right? Similar to a psychedelic. What if schizophrenia is that lacking of a filter, right? Similarly to when you take a psychedelic, you lack a filter. There's a ton of both good and bad research that went on in the 1940s and the 1950s and into the like there's like 20 to 30 years of research where doctors, like I said, both good and bad, studied LSD with people with schizophrenia very specifically because of the way that somebody under the mind of a psychedelic inhibited a very close, almost identical form as somebody with schizophrenia. And similarly, the doctors would do the experiments on themselves so that they could be more empathetic. Some of the doctors would do the experiments on themselves. Some other doctors did the experiments on those with schizophrenia, trying to reverse it, but that posed worse issues. Okay. The other doctors tried to actually take it themselves to make themselves more empathetic and kind of try to see what was going on. And what if psychedelics are the way to dissolve that filter and be able to view the other realm? There's a new theory in consciousness that has to do with like quantum consciousness, where we are in baseline physical reality, and when we're dreaming or when we're meditating or when we're doing psychedelics, we're in reality. That could trip you out if you think that is and what it is it's a frequency reality. It's a reality of vibration. It's a reality of who knows what, because they have to study it, right? They have to figure it's quantum. It's and it's how manifestation work, and it's how positive thinking and healing, how positive healing works, how all of that stuff with the will, there's a way, the confidence to do something, or even just not your shit out on your luck and it gets worse. Like
I wish that they would open up more to people with psychosis in today's studies, because I in 2022 got accepted into 3 separate clinical trials, and every time that they heard that I had psychotic features, I was denied. And there was one of them that I was literally going to like pay out of pocket. My insurance was going to cover a portion of it. I could cover the rest of it. And then as soon as they hear that there's any type of a psychosis to it, it's done. The conversation is over. And it's like the help that somebody could be getting.
There should be some more studies going on, hopefully specifically for schizophrenia. Well, that would be a qualifying condition, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Once they get there, but how long is that going to be?
It would be interesting if they were able to advance that type of research with this like discovery of quantum consciousness, right? Like if they figured out that our consciousness isn't in the physical form, our consciousness is somewhere else in the universe,
but like
we might be able to just figure that out. A lot of them have
the same descriptions of things that they see. A lot of them, like not everything, and it's not word for word, exactly the same. But a lot of people who are suffering with that and experience those type of hallucinations or delusions and stuff, they'll describe similar situations and similar things that they experience. So it just feels like if that group of people has things connecting on that type of a inner level,
right,
the same way that it's lining up with this other quote unquote world or whatever, or dimension, Oh man, I can't wait for those doors to open up all of the possibilities, because like, yeah, it's so exciting to think about, but also at the same time, maybe I don't want to be the one to guinea pig myself for it, you know?
Right.
Like prior to the 1920s, there were like a lot of like like the stuff that like Tesla was studying, and like there were a lot of Tesla ended up like looking at some documents from somebody who is kind of doing research on like these other realms and trying to figure out the consciousness thing, you know, and they kind of cracked some of these codes. Obviously, all of Tesla's stuff was like taken away and like kind of like burned like the Library of Cleopatra. But the theory is that like we're being suppressed. Like we have, I don't want to belittle it, but like just for the sake of conversation, almost like humanity has magical powers, right? Through propaganda and leading us to believe we are just a meat puppet, so to speak. Leading us to believe that we don't have powers. We've really inhibited them, but through also chemical alterations, right? Think of like, I'm not going to say specific chemicals because they're being polarized right now, but things that might or might not be in food supply, drinking water, maybe things that are even like mandated, and who knows how deep that rabbit hole goes, right? If you really get into it. But like look into all of the stuff you can't pronounce on the back of a food label. How many of them are really preservatives and necessary? How many of them were, my thought and curiosity is how many of them were studied during MK Ultra? I saw somebody talking about MK Ultra. CIA 1953 to 1964. That's one date range of MK Ultra. Supposedly MK Ultra has never actually ended and has still been going on, and they've been studying who know. And my thought is LSD wasn't the only thing that they studied. Why would they only study one specific chemical? I mean, if you're talking, there's thousands of analogs of LSD. There's a new research chemical that comes out every hour. If something's criminalized, you can change a carbon atom and make it legal. Well,
Right.
all of those things do crazy things to your mind. And if you look at TCAL and PCAL, those two books by Alexander Shulgin developed thousands of mind manifesting chemicals. If you don't think that the whoever the fuck was doing MK Ultra,
I think that
CIA,
with the power of
they
AI.
were doing hundreds of different. How do we know that red dye number 40 wasn't one of those substances that they tested on groups of people? You know what I mean?
Not to it a lot of places too. There, right?
We don't know. It covert everything, right? Drones.
Think of AI, using AI now too to be able to do a lot of suggestions and just tell you, all right, here's 50 new fucking things to cook up, you know?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, like, and they're gonna do a good job of they're getting some things out of a food supply, but they only go so far when they can recreate new things that aren't regulated and put those back in the food supply. My thought is that maybe some sort of knowledge needs to be passed, and so maybe it's not necessarily banning, maybe it's informing, similar to like cigarettes aren't necessarily banned and nicotine's not banned, but there's a warning label on the cigarettes that say, hey, this poses a health to certain individuals. Maybe if we actually put a warning label on food rather than like totally shutting down Kellogg's, maybe if we just say, hey, these food colorings and stuff that they're putting in the food is bad for us, so they either need to change the ingredients.
Red,
and if
at what point in our institutionalized education system would they be doing that? And educating them on things like that.
They don't. Not on the
an opposing lobby.
They wouldn't do it in the school system. Is the problem.
Make up a rule to
they want you to be a subservient consumer. They want you to work for the factory and then consume the products. Doesn't matter if they kill you or not. You know.
But and that's the thing. But like informing and education, like we always end up landing on that, and we talk about it in the cannabis industry how it seems like it's the bud tender, right? That needs to be doing that, but they're almost like
label on a product. The people buying the product hopefully would read what's on it, and I'd say at least 5 out of 10 people who buy the product will read what's on it. And
when it comes to dispos, though, you don't even see that label until you're walking out the door, and you have to open your stapled bag. You know what I mean? You know, it's not like you.
Hopefully, when you get home and you're peruse, at least maybe you'll read it. at some point, right?
But at the grocery store, I could at least check the expiration date right off the shelf. You know what I mean? And like that's not we don't even necessarily have that opportunity here in Michigan in our cannabis market.
No, there's a
I'm not even talking about cannabis. I'm talking about food, but you know what I mean?
No, I know. I'm just trying to bring it back to cannabis somehow.
I mean, just like I'm saying like not to ban something, but to put an information on there, because so many banning things just polarize people without actually informing them on why you're banning something.
Yeah, banning is never really a good idea.
There's hundreds of people. There's hundreds of people picketing Kellogg's right now. How many people actually understand what it is? How many people are just following and going, oh, they said that it's bad. It's officially bad. Why? Oh, these ingredients are bad. Okay, well, they shouldn't be allowed to use those ingredients. I respect that as well, but I'm not one for restrictive reason. I'm one for information. Don't just ban something without telling people why it's bad for you. Tell people why it's bad for them and then give them the informed decision to put it in their body or not. You know what I mean?
Is there a line in which you draw in the sand at which things are so bad for you that you just can't allow them to be on the market? Like think about, there's medicinal uses for heroin, right?
There is cyanide in apple seeds.
Right.
I'll just leave it at that. They're available to people. You could do whatever you want with apple seeds. You could make an extraction out of apple seeds if you wanted to. You could eat as many apple seeds as if you physically wanted to make yourself sick.
I've eaten quite a few.
It's cyanide. It's a very poisonous thing. In you know what I mean? Everything.
Yeah, but I think
nature.
You would need to eat like a hefty amount. I'm talking like a pound of seeds.
Which takes education just to even get to that point to be able to do that, right? Like
eat a few at a time.
You would need to know that. What if you really loved apples? What if you really love?
My kids really love apples, but
what if you specifically only loved grinding apple seeds and eating apple seed? What if
that seems like an unnatural thing?
What if you were into your own flour and you wanted to grind seeds for flour and you're experimenting with different flours? You're totally free to do it with apple seeds. Or maybe apple seeds is a bad analogy. What about nutmeg? And you ground yourself a whole nutmeg to put in your allspice. Nutmeg is a psychoactive and can kill you if up to less than 1,000 milligrams. That's less than 1 gram of nutmeg. That's one nut. One nut. If you consume one nutmeg, it could kill you.
That's so powerful, I try to tell you.
That's a better example because that's very easy to consume and it's very available. You can buy a jar of like 5 whole nutmegs on the shelf.
With great power.
There's no information on there that says that this is hallucinogenic, toxic. It might say that it's toxic. It might have a warning label on nutmeg. But anyway, the pumpkin spice latte has nutmeg in it. It also has allspice, which you think of cardamom, maybe some coriander, or maybe some cinnamon, the MAO inhibitor, and then lots of sugar to add.
I mean, we had that cinnamon challenge thing going on a few years back, and they never changed the labels for that.
Caffeine is psychoactive. So you put the
they did with Tide Pods though.
Psychoactive caffeine along with the MAO inhibitor of cinnamon and all of the nutmeg spices, along with the nutmeg hallucinogen and sugar dopamine inducer. You pretty much have a drug right there, just in the pumpkin spice latte. And there's not a warning label on that whatsoever.
How many do I have to drink to get fucked up, Red?
I don't know, but you could totally give yourself. You'll probably give yourself kidney failure before you fuck yourself up. Well, you give yourself
the caffeine might fuck me up before anything.
Anxiety and kidney failure and possibly diabetes, but there's no
touche on the diabetes.
There's no who cares, right? We can consume it. We can put it in our body. It doesn't matter, but there's no information on any of that stuff. None of that stuff's actually good for us. It's just like Kellogg's. It's just as bad as
that information is out there, but you really got to go seeking it, right? Like
you have to go seeking it. So
that's the beauty of the internet is the information is out there, but sometimes it's hard to find,
Just like
don't look
so I went inside a Dunkin' Donuts the other day just to get off subject. This is like crazy to me. I haven't been in a Dunkin' Donuts in a very, very long time.
Shame on you.
Sacrilege.
Well, the line was very long, and I was like, you know what? Let's go in and try it. My daughter and I walked in, and they literally had you walked up to the counter, and the counter was set up like a bar. They had the bar tabs
Oh yeah,
like you have for like
that's how America
Cold
runs on
brew.
Dunkin', baby.
blonde roast breakfast, and it was. She literally was on down the road
Cold
doing
brew,
this,
ice
and I was
foam,
like,
all of it.
wow, this is fucked up. This is like a bar. And it literally was like that. She had her
It's a coffee bar.
mixer, she had this going on. I was like, wow.
Oh yeah, you see those
But it was
32
like
bottles of
the
Monin
bar
syrups?
tab, like
Yeah, buddy.
or the whatever those things are for the
Oh,
beer
it's so
thingies.
much sugar.
It was crazy. Sorry to get off.
Would you
No,
like
you're
some
good.
mocha drizzle,
Hungry.
white chocolate
I'm
drizzle,
hungry.
You're on the
caramel
right
drizzle?
topic, Sarah. That is the
It's
right topic.
crazy.
Yeah. Well, it's entertainment, right? It's
Oh, it was
choice-
entertainment, all right.
It's many choices, right? You're a consumer, so tons of choices. You want to have as many choices as possible.
I mean, there was 10 different
Also-
options on like
Options,
coffee situations to
options.
pour. 10.
You know what else is cool? Is living your fucking life sometimes too, and just going and getting what the fuck you want.
That sounds like my daughter.
That's okay.
That's what she
That's
says.
okay.
That's kind of what I mean. That's kind of what I mean. If somebody just wants to eat, if somebody was like, "Yeah, dude, MK Ultra got me, and I'm really addicted to Red 40. I like it."
There you go.
They
Yeah.
want it, which
Skittles.
honestly, some people get high off Red 40. They are allergic to it, and they get. In high school, my girlfriend would go ape shit, berserk, and be like crazy when she had Red 40. It was fucking wild, and she was like, "Yeah, my doctor said I'm allergic to it, so I can't drink fruit punch." And then she'd drink fruit punch and woohoo, boing, 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 boing out the fucking. It was wild, dude. To
I
watch.
can't drink it.
Can you get tested for that to see if it's an
You
allergy?
can totally get tested for.
Yeah,
I don't know what
no,
they test for. I don't know. If some like attention test. I don't know what they do, but yeah, there's some.
How do you find out like that's
I
such
had-
I used to, like, when I was little, they would do an allergy test, and like my arm would get pricked by a dozen needles, my back, and they would mark it. But
Your grandma like gave her lithium and stuff too. So I really don't know who diagnosed her as allergic to red dye 40. Okay, like getting older, I'm learning that more people were a little more crunchy than I thought when I was younger. So it might have just been a crunchy mom deal, which is fine. I'm like whatever. But back then I was like, that's kind of weird that you're like know that you can't have fruit punch. I never even thought of it as a kid, and then it's just always that information always stuck with me. You know what I mean? That there's something else in our food supply that causes maybe not even an effect. It caused an effect. It wasn't an adverse. Maybe medically it was an adverse reaction.
We're not saying that red dye 40 causes cancer, but we are saying that it could be linked to ADHD. I see that.
Well, it certainly is linked to hyperactivity and
I didn't see that.
being distracted, right? It's linked to like distracting whatever causes
And it
that.
causes cancer.
There we go.
And I mean, maybe a warning label on the products that say that, but the problem is there's so much garbage in the food. Now you're going to need, you're going to need a booklet with every beverage that says what every fucking thing, so it's like, you might as well just fucking ban the shit altogether. Yeah, I think informing and allowing better options, because here's the thing. Once people are,
There it is.
well, nobody's buying the better stuff because it's expensive. And the reason it's expensive is because nobody's buying it. If the demand for it went up, the price for it would go down. That's just basic economics. The supply, everybody would be able to grow better. Everybody would have more of a market or stream. They would be busy. They would have the revenue coming in. They'd be able to upgrade. They'd still be able to put out a good quality product because that's their ethos, unless they sell out to a big corporation. And then guess what? Allow the free market to say, hey, they sold out, which is what's going on now. That one company that Salitas or whatever potato chip company it was, some big buyer bought it, and everybody's talking about it right now. And a lot of people are saying, we're going to stop buying. If they switch from avocado oil, motherfucker, we're done. We're done with you. The only reason we buy the shit is because it's avocado oil, not because it's not your name brand. Now,
Who is this? What company is this?
Everybody's talking about it.
Salitas or something.
For
Like
shame.
Salitas, they make potato chips. They make, but they use avocado oil. Fucking seed oils give me a fucking headache, man.
I just looked at the ingredients and red licorice has red dye 40 in it.
Of course
The
it
red
does.
licorice.
Anything red.
Well, no kidding, Troy.
Just about anything red.
Picked up.
90% of
Yeah,
red
I
M&Ms.
just happen to have some in front of me.
Well,
my
and on that note,
God.
I'm going to eat my delicious coconut ball of, I don't know whatever this is.
Is that a Russell Stover chocolate?
Like it says Siete,
Uh-huh.
S-I-E-T. Yeah, Happy New Year, everybody.
Nothing to worry about on that for Girlie. If it says Russell, it's got to be sweet.
Treat yourself.
Let's go,
Something nice. Go have a pumpkin spice latte. Just don't eat too much
Just
nutmeg.
don't OD on the nutmeg.
Don't
No,
OD.
do not OD on nutmeg.
5 grams.
Don't need too much
Look it up.
liquor.
It's 5 grams.
Is that
Everybody.
Dark
Stay away from your red
See you
eyes.
next year.
Crazy every year?
Seriously, guys.
Cheers, everybody.